Actually, where there's money, there's conflict, my man. Where there's money, there's a lot of conflict. And now when there's family, you lose a lot of money. And the thing is, you can't get rid of these people. Like, I'm stuck with you for life.
Christmas.
So, yeah, now we have to smile, Christmas parties. And I know that you really swindled me out of a young 40K nyana.
And
but
you
are
the,
my...
you're the bad one for being angry now. No, this is your cousin.
Your aunt comes to you and say, but you know, he's reckless. So now my mom and the aunt start also behaving their own thing. That's what I'm trying to avoid.
Nepotism, I think it's got a negative connotation,
Maybe.
So I think when you're starting a family business, it's important to be identified as a family business. I think
to say we are nepotism. You must announce it so it's not bad now.
So that they're aware.
Yeah,
they know. Here there's a succession plan. And the succession plan is father, son. Right?
I feel that family has a lot of entitlement.
Yeah.
But working in the business, that I don't have a problem with. But being part of the business, because family sometimes they abuse the role that you have in the business. Letabo is my dad. Letabo is my cousin. So now it moves from it being business to now having the emotional baggage. So I'm afraid of that. I actually don't want to end up being I've been there. I've done business with family and I got bent.
As black people, I think when it comes down to skill, even in the business that I'm in, it's very hard to find a black person that is doing, this particular skill that you're looking for. And then you are forced. I tried to go out of my way, actually, to find a black person that I can hire or that I can work with, right? And it becomes difficult to find a person, and you have to work with a white person or an Indian or whatever the case may be. So I think that education portion is cultural, right? Because I don't think there's an encouragement, a huge encouragement for kids to do well at school, right? It's get by, finish matric, and you're good. And that's a problem because once you become an adult and you start working in the world, you realize that people want skill. Matric is not skill. You just finish school.
I also have a problem with this thing of let's support black business, because some people abuse that. It's this thing of black and white. I mean, I understand that our history as black people, we really need assistance with so many things. But let's not always put it as the number one card. Open a company, offer a service. As long as your service is good, let's get the job done.
Welcome to D-Light Side of Life. I go by the name of D-Light, and we're a talk show where we discuss social issues, things people can relate to. And today we're discussing family business, whether it's a good or smart move to do business with your family members, or would you rather do business with a stranger?
I'd prefer to do business with family, because it's easier that way. Also, depending on the type of family members that you'd be doing business with, but it's better when you do it with people that are closer to home with the same mindset. It's easier for the business to grow, but also, consistency is important with it. But family business is the go-to, depending on the family members. You can't say extended family. It has to be close relatives, like your brothers, your sisters, people you grew up with. Some would say a recipe for success in business. So it's a very important aspect.
As a sole trader, more strategy. I'm an open guy. I don't have problem being partnered or cooperation. So anything is possible, and it's a potential a positive in business thing. Now I think positive fela. Let the fire burn.
I'd like to introduce you guys to my guests, my lovely guests on the panel who are going to discuss this issue with me. Experts in this topic, businessmen in this topic. To the left of me, I have Letabo, owner and founder of Strictly More Africa. How are you, Letabo?
I'm good, my brother. How are you today?
I'm well, thanks. And you are a sole owner of a company.
Yebo.
All right, okay. Welcome to the show. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
To the left of him, Christian Chilenga. How are you, Christian?
All good, my guy.
I'm
What's up?
well, thanks. I'm well, thanks. You are also in business, but please explain to me what type of business you are in and with whom.
Well, I do have a family business that
Yeah.
I started by my dad. It's an organization, and he's the founder. I work with him,
Yes.
mostly on the admin side.
Okay.
But I also have a business that I run on my side as well, with friends as well.
With friends?
Yes.
Okay, that's it. Okay. So just your dad, that's the only family you have?
Actually, my dad is the founder, but my brother also
He's
works
also
there.
involved.
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the show. We're going to discuss these things. So let me start with you, my brother. What's the purpose of going into business with your family?
I
Would
think
you
the
say?
biggest, the biggest purpose is legacy, right?
Yeah.
I think especially when it comes from your parents, they're trying to build something, leave something for you. Yeah. So I think legacy is one of the biggest reasons on why you want to go into business with family, and also values, right?
Okay.
I do not know everybody's values, everybody's motives.
True.
So, but with people that I grew up in the same household, I assume we all come with the same values. So it's easier for us to blend. And even when we disagree, we're
Yeah.
able to resolve it a bit quicker.
Because you do it the way you were brought up to do it.
Exactly.
Okay, that's interesting. Letabo, did you hear what he said about this crucial part? Body values, body legacy.
Body legacy.
How do you achieve such in your sole ownership or in your strangers? What do you call it when you work with strangers in a business? Your setup.
It's called having business partners.
Partners.
Yeah, it's partners.
Okay, investors and partners.
Investors and partners.
Yeah.
I think taking from what he said,
Yeah.
legacy and everything else that he mentioned,
Yes.
I'm still able to do that as a sole owner or not getting into business with family. Because I think with family, there's a lot of, I take family very serious.
Yeah.
So for me, it's family first, then it's business. So when you mix the two, there's a lot of leniency that happens, emotional attachments, and it can really affect how business moves. Personally, that's especially with me being the founder of this, I'm building it from scratch. So I need to really take in all the risks and pain that comes with building a business. So I don't want my family to also be part of that now.
You don't want them to be a part of the pain. What about the rewards? So you're going to work with strangers and then reward these strangers. And what about your
reward
family?
my family. I mean, if I'm part of the business, obviously my family will get the rewards.
Okay,
If I'm
so
making sense.
okay, why not set your family up in a way that they can earn these rewards?
Set them up for them to...
So that they work in the business and then they earn it and then, they're not just spoiled basically. Because you're mentioning something that sounds like a spoiled
I think with
approach.
Okay, number one, I feel that family has a lot of entitlement.
Yeah.
But working in the business, that I don't have a problem with. But being part of the business, because family sometimes they abuse the role that you have in the business. Letabo is my dad. Letabo is my cousin. So now it moves from it being business to now having the emotional baggage. So I'm afraid of that. I actually don't want to end up being I've been there, I've done business with family and I got banned.
Yeah.
So hence I'm like, nah, for me it's not, yeah. Employed, yes, but partners, no.
So yeah, Christian. Yeah, you heard this guy. He's anti what you are operating there. Where do you see any flaws in that, or is it a preference thing? Would you say, do you understand where he's coming from? Do you
Of
see some
course.
of those frustrations in your business?
Yeah, of course. It's a risk, right? Going into business
Yeah.
with family is a huge risk. I think with strangers, it's easier because you can cut ties a bit easier, you can be a bit more severe. Whereas family, you risk ruining relationships. It's always
Yeah.
a risk. So I do understand the fear of mixing business with family.
Yeah.
But I also believe that it is called family business, right? So
Yeah.
it stems from the family first. If you're starting your founder, you have to be smart enough to know who you can go into business with, right? The same way that you would go with a partner whom you trust. You're not going to pick a person who doesn't work hard, who's not smart, to be your business partner. So I think you should not. You shouldn't do the same with a family member who wants to be a business partner, right?
Yeah.
I would say you're looking at it from a best case scenario, right? If we were to look at it and say, you could find a best partner, would you rather it be your family or a stranger, right?
Okay.
And I would say it has to be family. That's why I'm saying family business trumps. Yeah, having a general partner who can be either a friend or a stranger, whatever the case may be.
Aren't you worried about your kids losing your wealth? All the stuff you've worked for? When it comes to that.
I can lose my wealth.
Yeah.
A stranger can lose my wealth.
Yeah.
Anybody can lose,
Okay.
So I don't think it's something to worry about as much. Obviously, you worry about it in the sense that you want to raise your children to continue the legacy, and it continues to generations, and your family name continues. But I think to think of it in that mindset is maybe short-sightedness, simply because anybody can lose wealth, right?
Yeah.
You can, yeah. So,
Okay.
rather my children or a stranger. I hope my
It's a
children
risk.
don't lose. Yeah.
So let's speak to someone who'd rather let a stranger lose the wealth. How much of a factor is trust in your business?
Trust is everything in business.
Okay.
I can't work with you if I don't trust you.
So
Yeah.
you have people you trust.
I have people I trust.
So coming back to the Christian setup, he comes from a family where he's watched these people grow with him, same values, same church, same father. He knows who they are.
Same father.
I would hope so. But I assume they are. He basically knows who he's working with, so he doesn't have to interview them even. You meeting people for the first time, I'm assuming, when you start working with them and such. Or maybe, do you find another way of building trust? Do you first become friends with these people? How do you ensure that, okay, I know who I'm working with, this person's not going to backstab me, stuff like that? Because remember now, if if his brothers now do the things, they have to answer to the father as well, or the family as well. Who do they answer to when they do that to you, and why? So why wouldn't they backstab you?
The thing is, the reason I don't prefer family is because of that. So when the backstabbing happens, I believe that all is fair in love and all. So if we go to war, if you backstab me as my cousin, my brother, like a family member, now there's other people involved in all of that. Because if I come after you, let's say now there's a lawsuit that I have to open against you. You understand that now probably your mom is my aunt.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't really want to trade, because but now if you're a stranger or you are just a partner, all is fair. Like it's all guns blazing. I can go after you in any other way, because now there's no emotional baggage, attachments, there's no childhood memories. This is strictly business.
So may I ask, so you basically in it for money?
What
legacy?
The foundation of a business is money. We're not doing this for fun.
So your business, that's okay. I have to distinguish that, because with other people it's literally a name. It's what this business can get us further on. It's what it can, you know what I mean?
Okay,
it can
100%.
go further than the business itself. Hence why people would have their name in the business.
Yeah.
So with you, no legacy. You don't care about your
No,
name.
it's about the legacy. It's about building a name. But the foundation of it is to create wealth.
It's to create
It's
wealth.
to create wealth. And I want the business to run after my time has passed, way beyond my time has passed.
Okay.
Yes.
Christian, he says it's to create wealth. Can wealth be created with strangers?
For sure.
It can be, okay.
Yeah, I think it can be. Some great companies are built off, partnerships that are people who met in, universities, colleges, childhood friends. I do believe that it's definitely, it's the norm, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I would not disagree with that. Where I would say the difference lies between a family-owned business, it comes back to the intro when I say that it's the vision.
Okay.
Right, and I think that's where maybe family businesses struggle.
Yeah.
In the sense that because we're all familiar with each other, we do not take each other as seriously in business as we should. Whereas maybe as a partner, in a partnership of strangers, it might be different, right? We hold each other way more accountable.
Yeah.
But that is not to say that family businesses cannot work,
Yes.
right? I do believe that they should be the way, you know, businesses are built.
Yeah.
100%.
I do believe that it should be built through families, you know.
Oh, okay.
It's the way it should be, but it's no. But even when you look at some of the biggest companies in the world, it's family businesses, right? They've been passed through.
I think they say, like in the States, it's like over 90% of businesses are family businesses.
Yeah,
So it's essentially like the crux. Yeah, it's the main foundation of.
yeah. Even in
how
South
businesses
Africa,
are
I'm
built,
sure
yeah.
ShopRite is a family business, you know.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of big companies that are formed simply because it's a family that came together.
Yes.
And even when you look at big companies and you look at their humble beginnings, right, you might find that it's just a father and son, you know, who started from nothing and they built it up.
So are your family dynamics a part of why it's maybe also easier for you to get into business with your family? Maybe you have a good relationship with your father and such, and maybe, you know, other people can't relate to that, so they don't see the future in having a business with the same person.
100%. I think,
Yeah.
as I said, it's family first. Family business.
I see.
Yeah. So if you're not a family,
Yeah.
right? If you're estranged with your parents or you and your brothers don't get along,
Yeah.
then obviously I would not encourage you,
it. Okay.
to get into
100%.
business together, right? But as I said, if it's a base case scenario, you have a good relationship with your siblings, your parents, then I think it is a good foundation
Okay, I
for
see.
you to start a business. I actually think you already have an advantage over
Yeah.
everybody else.
Yes.
Simply because there's 2 or 3 of you that are trustworthy, you trust
Yes,
each other.
yes.
Then I think it's easier for you to grow the business.
So Letabo leads me to the obvious question: are your family dynamics fine?
Super.
It's not
Great.
it's not an anger that you are
No.
responding with.
No, there's no anger.
Would you say, isn't there anyone in your family that you can say, okay, but this guy, despite my beliefs, yeah, but I would get into business with this guy. Isn't anyone ever better than a stranger in any
No, I
degree?
won't.
Yeah.
There's family members that I would, maybe let them invest in what I'm doing. For me, it's about if it makes sense, if the numbers make sense and
Okay.
you are family, we really need to find a solid way to structure the business. As much as the business is, like any other business, is risky.
Yeah.
But if we are gonna somehow find a way to, if your numbers are making sense to me, we have to structure it in a way that when things fall apart, we are not affected. Our personal relationship is not affected. Is it either coming as a silent partner?
Yeah.
We just find a way to structure it very well. It must really make sense. Because if numbers make sense, to me, numbers are everything. Women lie, men lie. Numbers
don't
don't
lie.
Yes.
So succession, how then, where will your business go to? Or like you said, it's all about money, but wouldn't you like your business to live beyond you and such? So how do you follow that through if, let's say, your daughter and your brother are not a part of this business, so that they can make sure that, I want to make sure that my brother's goal and, all of these things, objectives are followed through, because I'm invested in my brother as well. So how do you secure that? Or do you even care, or you don't care? Well, it's just money for you.
No, it's not just money. Obviously, family security is everything.
Okay.
I've structured my businesses in such a way that if I die tomorrow, the shares left for people. But those shares, there's still someone who'd be the CEO and run the show. So you wouldn't just come and take over Strictly More Africa without even understanding where it's going, and you don't, just because you are my brother. You understand?
Okay.
That's where my entitlement. Just because you are related to me somehow does not really give you access, because you can, like I can die today and you take over, but there is no vision.
So you're more worried about the running of the company rather than the inheritance. So you're gonna give them the inheritance. You're actually gonna give them.
Security is everything. I mean,
So
I'm here
then-
to really take care of my family, but I can't just give you something on a silver platter because we are related.
But you're saying that you don't want your family to do the work, is what I'm hearing you say. You want them to inherit this company, but you don't want them to help create it and build it.
No,
That's
like I said,
what I'm taking from what you're saying.
They can be a part of it. I don't mind employing people, especially if they don't report to me.
Yes.
If they don't report to me, so I don't want to work with someone that I've got emotional ties with. because there's leniency. There's a lot of leniency that happens.
Yeah, yeah.
It's easy to fire Delight than to fire my wife.
Yeah, yeah,
because now, after we leave the boardroom, we
Yeah.
still now discuss business affairs in the bedroom.
True.
And we need to really draw the line between that. That's why I'm really, preference-wise, I'd rather choose someone else than to pick family.
Speaking about the boardroom and bringing things from the business to the personal, Christian, how do you navigate through like family gatherings and all of these things? Is business a topic that's allowed, or do you guys like strictly say, okay, guys, we're now having a braai. Please, we'll talk about this on Monday. Let's not let it affect the mood today. How do you navigate around that?
Yeah, it's very hard to separate the two,
Yeah.
right? Because I think that once you have a business as a family, it becomes a child in the family, right? And it has to be nurtured, it has to grow.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to say, okay, we're only going to talk business from Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, right? So it definitely spills over into your daily life. And I don't see it as a big problem. I really don't. I think it does get frustrating, right? When every time, especially when things are very busy, and you're getting calls, from family, and it's always, work. But I think it's not different from a 9 to 5, right?
Okay.
It's always going to be work related. But I think that's where I say vision and mission comes down to. It's very important when it's outlined at the beginning.
Yeah.
If you know what the business is working towards, right? If you know what you're trying to achieve as a business, doesn't have to be necessarily as a family, but as a business, then it's a motivation for you, right? It helps you to get up in the morning. It helps you to take the call.
True.
Right? Because otherwise we'll just be sitting and lazing around, because the vision and the mission does not really resonate with us. So I think that would be something that you have to push.
Then with entitlement and such, how do you how will you navigate around that? Is there a system that's set up in a family business where you earn your way? Have you gone through a system like that as being a child of your father's company? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean,
is there a way it should happen to ensure that people are not entitled, and such?
Yeah, I think it comes down to it's merit, right? I think just because it's a family business, I don't think we should equate family business with nepotism, and non-merit. I think it's still a merit system, right? If I start a business with my brother, it's because I trust him to do certain things. I would not, for example, get my cousin to work with if I know that my cousin is lazy. If I know that he's not, he doesn't get his work done, right? So I think sometimes this is what happens when we talk about family business. People tend to think, cousin, you're going to get a lazy cousin involved, or you're going to get a lazy brother. True. No. You start a family business to succeed with people who are working working to reach the goal at the end, right? So when somebody comes with entitlement, you don't involve them, right? As Letabo said, you get them to work, and they have to prove themselves in the business, right? Obviously, maybe they can have preferential treatment in the future if they show that they can do it, right? Because you definitely want to keep the family business within the family. But if they don't, they have to be cut out.
So to no degree will you, because I'm sold by that. I'm sold by that business model.
Yeah.
To no degree, you mentioned your degrees, but can you hear how that works?
No, I get what
Isn't that a well-balanced
It's a
approach?
well-balanced approach. Hence, I'm saying that even with me, maybe because I don't really consider myself as a startup, I haven't really been blessed with the opportunity to have a success story with family. Hence, I'm saying that because of that, I've decided to put a border and say, let me look for better systems that like Christian has. Because I think the conversation now is because Christian got into a family business that was already moving, which is also good. So I'm getting into something that I'm starting. So all the mistake, I'm learning on the ground, you understand? So part of that learning has put me in positions of working with family, and I
Yeah.
found myself in a very tricky position. Yeah.
So you saying that you being the founding member or such of this company, you against family business in that sense. But if you were asked to join into a family business, especially a successful one, would you object to that?
Join into a successful family business.
Yes.
If someone wants
Come,
me
my-
on
my-
and the
my
numbers
nephew.
and the numbers make sense, why not?
So it would
I'll
make
jump
sense.
on it.
You would-
But now I'm on the other side. As the founder, I get to pick and choose. But if you as a family member decide to put me on your business,
Yeah, that's what
I'll jump on it. If the numbers make sense, why
So,
not?
so you're saying it makes more sense for the one who's jumping on it.
Yeah, because
Would
now
say?
you are
Yeah.
bringing me on. That's your risk. So with
Okay, I
me,
see.
it's like Christian said, building a business is like raising a child. So with me, Strictly Mo Africa is that baby that I'm raising. I need to make sure that I really filter wherever I don't want in Strictly Mo Africa. Like I need to run the show as best suited as I know how.
Yes.
Yeah. But if you call me on the light side of life and we are cousins, why not? I'll jump on it. As long as the numbers make sense.
Do you not feel as though this has something to do maybe with not just upbringing but race?
Race?
Yeah, race. Our race, being black people, as we are. Do you think that that might also affect the way you view family business?
100%.
The inconsistency of that reality in our community. You know, maybe that's why you don't. Because let me. The reason why I'm saying this is look at Indians, look at Jews, and such. For the large majority of them are basically like they built off of family businesses. So, would you say that maybe factors in? Is there something that comes with your brother not being reliable that has to do with more than just being your brother who's entitled?
I think, especially because I come from a family where I believe I'm the first entrepreneur.
Yeah.
There's no we don't have a record of entrepreneurs, so I don't really have that experience because I've been reading a lot about what the Jews are doing. There's a lot of successful family businesses.
Yes.
But now I'm not in a position to be part of that story because
Yes.
my background plays a very critical role. I mean, when I founded the company, 90% of the family members were saying, what are you doing? This is foreign to
Okay, I
us.
see,
You
I
understand? Edit your CV and look for a job. So,
So
you understand that
yeah.
even the mindset is quite,
There was lack of support.
I wouldn't say lack of support,
I mean, compared to some of the other cultures.
100 years.
Where,
So
okay,
the
where it's
background is-
automatic with the other people. They know that in our culture, what we do is own businesses.
We own businesses.
Yeah,
So
it's
I
like,
come
no, we
from a
know
different-
employment, we get a job. So you sounded quite foreign to what they were familiar with.
Yeah, to me, my family business is something that only now I think some of them are also starting to tread in on.
Okay.
So its background has also influenced how I see it.
Any backstabbing?
Ooh, a lot.
A story you can give us?
Hey,
Just so I can understand what it means.
actually, where there's money, there's conflict, my man. Where there's money, there's a lot of conflict.
Yeah.
And now when there's family, hey, you lose a lot of money. And the thing is, you can't get rid of these people. Like, I'm stuck with you for life.
Like Christmas.
So yeah, now we have to smile, Christmas parties, and I know that you really swindled me out of a young 40K nyana.
and
But
you're
are
the,
my, yeah,
you're the
we
bad
have-
one for being angry now.
Now-
This is your cousin.
Your aunt comes to you and say, but you know he's reckless.
Ah,
So now my mom and the aunt start also having their own thing. That's what I'm trying to avoid.
ish.
Yeah, because it gets to a point where it becomes messy and it involves a lot of people and a lot of people who are not even part of the initial agreement when we started this thing.
But would you agree that maybe family business does improve your chances of success?
I can't really comment on because I don't know. If I've been part of a successful family, I can't really.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, I can't really comment on that.
Christian, family business more likely to succeed? You
Yes.
probably said that in your statement initially.
Yes, yes. I
Yeah.
think definitely more likely to succeed. And just to actually also add on to the whole race thing, I think
Yes.
when other races start businesses, right? Especially we got Indians, you mentioned Jews, even white people. I think the communities are built around families. right? So I think that's one of the foundations of
Yeah.
the races. It is family.
Yeah.
You know, you have your wife, you have your children. Your next door neighbor is a replica of your family, right? And I think when you start a business, you already have a market within those races, right? A person will start a business and he knows that the business that I've started,
Yes.
I've got an Indian market that I can
Okay.
sell into, or I've got a white market I can sell into, and then I'll sell into the black market. Whereas, and they've also got buying power, right? As opposed to
Yeah.
us, when we start businesses, I think we struggle simply because first of all, it's hard to sell into our own market, right? You have to convince that you are capable, and that convincing requires you to show that what you say you can actually do, right? So if you say that I can make a mug, people want the evidence that other people are using it before they invest.
Before they commit.
Yes. Whereas in other races, I can sell you a broken mug and I can fix it, until it actually becomes a successful business.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the taxes we have to pay, as black people. So it's costly, right? It takes time as well. And I think maybe because of that, we become a bit reluctant to take too many risks. We
Yeah.
already got enough risk.
Yeah.
So adding to that family might be a bit too much. But I do think that if the setup is already there,
Yes.
the foundation is the family.
Oh,
If
okay.
it's already there, then your likelihood of success is way much higher.
You're just adding a business idea to what's already a structured
It's already exactly.
entity that's already successful in its own capacity.
Exactly. Yeah.
Letabo, have you heard of the notion where they like, in other communities, money rotates about 7 times before it leaves the community, right? Once it enters,
Yeah.
it rotates about 7 times before it leaves. And, okay, you're familiar with that, no?
Yeah.
And they say basically in the black community, like, I think it enters and it goes,
It
same
goes,
day.
yeah.
It goes to, yeah. Anyway, so how much of a factor do you think family business plays into that occurrence?
Okay.
If any at all.
Okay, I think I can maybe respond to that with a scenario that I usually do when I involve family in business. So what I do, when you have a skill and I need something for my business, I encourage you to open a company. So you become a service provider to me, to Strictly Mo Africa. Then, so for me, if it's like that, it's easy to maneuver around it because you're still offering Strictly Mo Africa. We could be related, but you're offering a service. So
Yeah.
the money still moves amongst us, but now you are not internally involved.
It's independent.
Yeah, you are independent. So if you don't provide the service, it's easy for me not to even pay you because you didn't really offer what you were supposed to. Yeah, so I usually encourage family members who, like sometimes I host events and I need catering. So tell whoever, do you have a registered company? If you do, yes, you'll be the service provider. So if you come there and you didn't really meet the spec, then we can have that conversation. But now I'm not coming after you, I'm coming after your company. So I'm not paying this service provider because 1, 2, 3 was not met, done. But now if you are internal, it's difficult.
So, okay, so I see that, so you're saying the benefit of being a family member, it seems, is that I have I have a connection with you. I have contact with you. That I have you as an option to do business with. Is that the advantage you're basically giving me? As a
On
family?
merit, I mean, if you are offering a service that's good enough,
So it's the equivalent, I'm trying to say, so basically it's the equivalent of a stranger, just that I know you and therefore that's the upper hand. And maybe you would consider me first or?
no, I don't consider you first because you are female.
So it's still
If you are good at what you
okay.
do and you really
So-
tell me that, listen, you are hosting an event.
Yeah.
I have a security company. Can I come and provide that service?
Okay.
I'll compare you to other guys.
Do you compare them to other black people?
The thing was with me,
Or is
I
it the
try
best
and-
man for the job? 'Cause
Yeah, it's the best because I try and play away from
Yeah.
black, white, whatever. Like for me, business is business. Let's try and work around it. If it's you
Yeah.
as a black person and you've got merit, like Christian said, you are
Yeah.
able to get the job done. I'll get you. I mean, I don't have a problem with
Yes.
that. But I also don't want it to be a highlight, because I also have a problem with this thing of let's support black business,
But-
because some people abuse that.
Contradictory though. Your company is strictly more Africa. Why are you focused on Africa more than anything else?
Because of my passion for the African continent.
And it's personal to you.
It's a personal thing.
So isn't it the equivalent of saying I'm going to focus on trying to first support a black business before anyone else because that's someone who I am. It's my passion. It's
Hence,
personal to me. Like
Hence, I'm saying
Yeah.
if the merit is good, I'll support the business. Whether you are black or white, I'll support the business. I'll support you. I'll give you the job, because
yeah.
it's this thing of black and white. I mean, I understand that our history as black people, we really need assistance with so many things. But let's not always put it as the number one card. Open a company, offer a service. As long as your service is good, let's get the job done.
Okay, do you acknowledge though in what I was mentioning that the other cultures actually do it that way? They prefer their own. So you know, like a lot of Jews would know to first rely on a Jewish plumber, a Jewish electrician before anyone else enters. Like we could go to communities like Lodium,
Yes.
where in the community itself, you hardly have to leave because everything is there and it's us. So don't you see the success in that model? And hence why don't you see maybe why we don't have this an equivalent success, because we don't practice those.
We don't work together.
We don't practice the way they practice. We don't prioritize getting a black plumber, getting a black electrician. You know, even if it's about merit, but maybe even empowering the black guy to then get to the position where you can then hire him after that. So that would be similar to, you know, having the family business of maybe your cousin can't do what you want him to do, but maybe he has no one pushing him to that level to get there. So if you with your personal, you know, I mean, you're right there, and you the varsity you could put him in, right? But he must still go and pay for a white college and a white varsity to then come and tell you, hey, uncle, I can work at your company, instead of teaching him and giving him those things you say is missing. That, you know, don't you see that that's kind of what maybe the other cultures are, why they build what they
excel,
build.
yeah. You actually have a point there. And how do I even put this? The whole race thing obviously is a contributing factor. It's something that we must always take into consideration.
Yeah.
But I think I differ with giving you something to see if you can like build. Let's be good with what you do, because with business,
Yes,
be good with what you do. Then I'll pick you as a black brother. I don't have a problem with that. But let me not carry you through. You understand? Because if
I get you.
unless if you come to me and say, please mentor me, then I can mentor you.
Yeah.
But now, the moment I bring you on board because you're a black brother, but hence I'm saying that even this thing of support black business, sometimes you abuse it. Maybe it's because of our history and our dynamics. I don't know. But a lot of people will abuse that thing that, let's support black business, but the service is bad.
Okay.
Yeah, the service is bad.
Do you think other communities, maybe there are some abusers there and we just don't know about it?
No, certainly. I know personally, even with the business that I'm in with my partners,
Yeah.
we sell to, we don't, okay, we probably have like 1 or 2 black clients,
Yeah.
but the majority of our clients are white and Indian.
Yeah.
And I've formed relationships with them, right?
Okay.
And when we speak, you know, business and stuff like that, they tell me the stuff they've been through with white people, with Indians, right? They've been burned, they've been cheated. It happens in all communities,
It's the
right?
nature of the game.
It is the nature, yeah. When it comes down to the whole money circulating 7 times within within a certain
community,
race, community, before it leaves, I think it also comes down largely to skill and distribution or the ability to distribute your skill around, right?
Yeah.
I would say that education is one of the key points,
Yeah.
right, within that makes us suffer.
Okay.
I think as black people, I think when it comes down to skill, even in the business that I'm in, it's very hard to find a black person that is doing, you know, this particular skill that you're looking for. And then you are forced. I try to go out of my way actually to find a black person that I can hire or that I can work with, right? And it becomes difficult to find a person, and you have to work with a white person or an Indian, or whatever the case may be. So I think that education portion is cultural,
Yeah.
right? Because I don't think there's an encouragement, a huge encouragement for kids to do well at school, right? It's get by,
Okay.
finish matric, and you're good. you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and
You made
that's a problem, because once you become an adult and you start working in the world, you realize that people want skill. You know,
Yeah, 100%.
matric is not skill.
Yeah.
You just finish school. So you need to work on something and have certain knowledge that you have to be able to sell. So I think culturally, and it still comes down to family. Who pushes kids to go to school? It's parents,
Yeah.
right? And who pushes kids to go to university? It's parents. It's not the cousin's job to do that.
True.
Right? It's not your uncle's job to do that. It is your parents' role that has to push you to go as far as you need to go. I think most kids, the majority of kids don't want to go to school, but it's your parents that actually, put it
Who
on
push
you
it, yeah,
to finish,
true, true.
And once you go through that process and you come out on the other side, you realize that, hey, I'm
was
actually
worth it.
valuable, in society. I can go out and make my trade. I can actually contribute to society,
True.
So it all comes down to family.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you don't have children currently now?
No.
Okay. But you plan to have?
Yes.
Okay. How would you feel if your child wasn't willing to be a part of your business or the business that your father built and such?
Well, I mean,
Would you encourage it?
definitely.
Yeah.
I would definitely encourage him or her to join us, in growing the business. And I think that's the core of it, right? The idea behind it is that if you have a family that has started a business that is successful, then unemployment is not an issue for your family.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? You always have that business that you can actually go
That
to.
option, yeah, true.
You can go out and maybe learn some other stuff.
Yeah.
But the idea behind it is that you're always going to come back.
There's a safety net.
There's it's not. I wouldn't really call
No,
it
you
a
work for the
safety net.
safety
Huh?
net. Yeah, you work for it though. Yeah, but it's
No, I didn't want to call it a safety net, because safety net means like it's an alternative. I don't want.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, I want.
So it
the
can't
wo-
be an alternative,
It's not
you
an
say?
alternative. I
How?
want the job that they do to be the alternative. I want them to go get the skill so they can come back.
Oh, so the family business is still.
It's
so
the
you
core.
would be disappointed if your child said, "No, I don't want it to be my primary."
Of course.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So why is that? Why wouldn't you want your child to? Because they they came into this world with their own plans, their own visions. They turned a certain age. They're like, hey, by the way, you need to come here, and forget all those things we're dreaming about.
No, I'm not saying I'm forcing them
Yeah.
to come in. I'm not gonna break their hand for them to come
Yes.
to come in. But I'm saying what I'm trying to understand is that they are part of the vision.
Yes.
Right? Because there is a family dynamic, right? There is a family vision.
Yeah.
Right? And the family vision has to be generational,
Okay.
right? And if they deviate from
Yes.
that family vision, it actually hurts them as well, right? Because when it comes time to retirement, somebody else will be running that business,
Yes.
right? They'll be left out. There is a history to it, right? There's a lot of history. So say, for example, 3 generations down the line, your grandparents, or your great-grandparents, your grandparent, your father, and now you. There's a history that is part of your family.
Yeah.
You're not just letting go of a business. As I said, it's a child.
Yeah.
You are basically letting go of family. Yeah? So
Yo,
it's
that's
deeper than
deep.
that. Yeah. I think it's deep. It's very deeper than that. And it should be a very difficult decision that they make. If they make it lightly, they don't understand what they're letting go of.
So it sounds like you are setting up family business just to force your child to stay loyal to you guys. Like, I can mess up as a father, but remember, like you have all of these things, these clauses to make sure that you don't leave this place. It sounds like you are doing that.
No,
which is
but I
literally
think-
what he's trying to avoid. Is like, I don't want you to feel like you owe me something, and I don't want there to be tension, and so it sounds like it could cause a lot of tension if things are not,
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I think we're all at an age where, legacy is important, right? You want to build something that will outlive you. When
Yeah.
you're a teenager, you want to play around, you become your 20s, then you turn 27, you're like, yes, like life,
Hey.
is real,
Hey.
right? And you want to leave something for your children. So I think there is something within us, maybe as men, that we
Yes.
want to pass on to our children, right? we want to say that this I left for my kids. I
Okay.
think it's the same thing for my parents, right? They start the business so that they know that when they pass on, there is something that I can hold on to and grow and build. So it's not meant to force you or to make you feel uncomfortable, but it's actually meant to help you, right? You do not need to go look for a job once you finish university.
Okay.
Right? That's a fear that all of us probably had. Once you finish matric, you finish university, you're like, hey, you start sending out applications.
Yes.
Who's going to hire me? Why do you need to be hired?
I see.
Yeah. You know?
So,
So you
okay.
can literally call your parents, call an uncle and be like, hey, I'm finished my varsity. I need a job.
Put me in position.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's simple as that.
Okay, we spoke about your brother and such and such. So your daughter now, is it the same with your daughter? The
No, it's
exact
not.
same way? Is there a difference?
Yeah, there's a big
Ah,
difference
I
with my
thought
daughter.
so. I thought.
No, with my daughter, it's, no, that's
So
that's a
let's
different
discuss your
conversation.
daughter. Is your daughter the equivalent of Christian and his father? Is it a similar approach of this one now?
No, for me, I want my daughter to. I want to give her options. If she wants to do what she wants to do, it's still fine. But if she has interest in the business, it's still okay. But I don't want to also
Okay.
make sure that I channel her into doing.
You don't
what
want
I
to
love.
force her into this.
Yeah,
You want it to naturally
not
like
even force.
Yeah.
I think sometimes you can not force but groom her to,
Yes, true.
to do what you wanna do, because sometimes people end up being miserable because they are not doing what sets their soul on fire because they've been groomed to get into running whatever your passion is. Because I also think that business is also not for everyone.
Yes.
Business it's not for everyone. A lot of people love they love to glamorize being entrepreneurs, but it's honestly not for everyone. So if my daughter is not really into business, if she wants to be a painter, she must go be a painter. She wants to be what, but if she's got passion for what I'm doing, then that's a different conversation.
So why is there such a huge difference between your daughter and your brother or and such?
No, as Christian said, building a company is like raising a baby.
Yeah.
I want it to live way beyond me. And if my daughter would want to jump on it, I don't have a problem with that. Because remember that I'm also doing this for her. You understand? I'm doing this for my child to know that this is what daddy started.
Okay.
But she's not forced to be part of it.
And why would you trust your daughter? Yeah.
No, with my daughter, it's not even about trust. I mean, it also goes back to merit. If she has proven her point,
Yeah.
that she's good at what she does, being part of she could be part of the business and not even lead the business.
Okay, I
it
see.
all depends on how she wants to be part of. She could also be a service provider to the business. But remember that once way beyond my time, the business basically belongs to her. I mean, if she wants to be part of it, it's still fine. If she wants to be a part of it, but as a silent partner, it's still okay.
I
A
see.
stranger can still run it.
Can't,
Someone who's clued up.
Can't you have a similar influence or have a similar grooming towards your brother, a younger brother, and such, where you can ensure the same outcome, where you don't have someone who is entitled, where you don't, because you clearly can see that with your daughter. And I don't know if it's maybe because she comes from you and you have ensured her outcome to be a specific way. That's why maybe you can trust it. So why not just maybe ensure that you can develop more family members like that around you? Or don't you think that's a possibility? Where like
Maybe
Christians
with time.
yeah,
For
share
now-
values, all of those things.
Maybe
Where,
with
yeah.
time. Maybe with time, I might just have that. But for now, I personally don't really have
Yeah.
that type of mindset. Because I'm
Okay, I
also
see.
building.
I see, I
So I think my investment is building the company for now. So if I'm going to also now bring someone on board and still groom them I don't have that for now. Maybe 10 years from now, I'll have a different mindset on
Okay.
that. Because I'm still building.
I see. Nepotism, Christian.
Yebo.
It happens in your family, né? In the business. To some degree? Doesn't it have to always exist with family
I
businesses?
think in the family business, yes, there has to be. Nepotism is negative, right? I think it's more like family guarantees,
Is it negative?
Bloodline. Nepotism, yeah, I think it's got a negative connotation. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
So I think when you're starting a family business, it's important to be identified as a family business. I think
Or to
whoever's-
say, we are nepotism. You must announce it so it's
Yeah, you
not
must-
bad now. 'cause-
So that they're aware.
Yeah, that
they
here
know.
we-
Yeah, here there's a succession plan,
Oh,
and the
okay.
succession plan
I
is
see.
father son, right? Yes, exactly. Yeah. So
Okay.
I don't think if I'm in a business, right, and I join a
Okay,
business and I'm doing well, and I'm second to the CEO of the business,
Yeah.
and then 10 years down the line, he's like, hey, my son who I've never met is gonna run the business. I would be offended. I'd be like, oh my God, I've been with you for 10 years. But if the succession plan is clear, yes, and the person knows that, listen, I'm grooming this person to take over from me. That's why I don't have a problem with grooming, right?
True.
I think, yeah, with children,
Business grooming.
Business grooming
Yeah.
is, yeah, business grooming.
I say, don't worry, I got you.
It
yeah?
is. So you need to groom or business groom the
Yes.
person so that they're able to take over
Yeah.
from you. And I think it also, especially we mentioned the issue of race.
Yes.
I think it's very important for the next generation to grow up with such a model, right? A model where the parent is a successful business owner, right?
Yeah.
Where they're able to have business conversations from a young age.
Okay.
Right? We did not grow up with that, unfortunately, right?
Yeah,
But I think
unfortunately,
it's important that the next generation has that benefit, right? Even if they decide not to continue in the family business, that knowledge is invaluable.
Okay.
It's invaluable to them, yeah.
Okay. I see where you're coming from. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Letabo, you are not for family. Christian is for family.
Business.
Business.
I'm for family. Family first.
You have family. You love
Yeah,
your family.
for business-
The only issue is business.
Yeah.
Money and business and family shouldn't mix.
Yeah.
Okay, Christian, I've learned a lot from you as well. Thank you guys very much. So it's very nice and interesting. Kaleboha. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to everyone for tuning in and watching The Light Side of Life. This was another episode, a good one. I wear my second episode.
The Light Side of Life is recorded at Obi-Wan Design in partnership with Entitlement Entertainment. Your moments matter. Every smile, every laugh, and every glance. They all tell a story. At Antidope, we're here to capture them beautifully. Whether it's a wedding, a family portrait, or a special event, we believe in preserving memories that last a lifetime. Our expert photographers and videographers will make sure every detail shines and every moment is framed perfectly. Let us tell your story with images that feel as real and vibrant as the moments themselves. Because at Antidope, we don't just take photos, we create memories. Book your session today and let's make your memories unforgettable. Antidote. Your story, our lands.